Welcome to this edition of the Click and Pledge's Fundraising Command Center podcast, where we talk the why, the what, and the how in the Click and Pledge's ecosystem.
It's great to be here.
And we are really excited to continue our The Why series today. Things are changing so fast in our world, and today we want to get past just the mechanics of fundraising. We're going to do a deep dive into the philosophy of, well, genuine human connection.
Yeah, which is more important now than ever.
Exactly. I mean, the power of technology, specifically AI, it's undeniable. It can write these incredibly sophisticated stories in seconds. That, helps us with so much admin work.
Oh, for sure. The efficiency is massive.
But that efficiency, it also introduces a real strategic challenge for communicators, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How do you make sure your outreach, your appeals actually carry genuine human weight?
That's the whole game right there.
So our mission today is to explore why understanding the difference between, say, a calculated story and an understood story is just vital for moving people to act.
And that distinction is everything. As we look at these tools, our focus has to be on that line between syntax and semantics.
Okay, syntax and semantics. Let's break those down.
Sure. So syntax is the structure. It's the perfect grammar, the flawless delivery. But semantics, that's the emotional cargo. It's the real meaning, the truth behind the words.
A feeling.
The feeling, yes. For effective fundraising, we suggest that every single piece of communication has to carry a genuine emotional load.
Okay, so let's unpack this
Yeah.
illusion of understanding.
Right.
Because when I see an AI generate a poem or a screenplay that hits all the right emotional beats, my first thought is, wow.
Right.
My human reaction is to assume it comprehends. I think the machine gets tragedy or, it understands hope.
It's an incredibly tempting conclusion to draw, and that's because the fluency is just so high. It looks real.
It feels real.
It does. But we champion the idea that this is really just a calculation. It's not a conceptual truth. AI is a master of syntax.
The grammar, the word placement.
Exactly. It operates in these high-dimensional vectors. It just knows that certain word, it calls them tokens, statistically maximize the probability of the next word you want to see.
So if I ask it to write an appeal about, say, clean water, it knows the tokens child, disease, and survival need to appear in a certain order to get a predictable response.
Precisely. It's just optimizing the appeal based on millions of human appeals it's already seen. The syntax is working perfectly.
But the gap you're talking about is in the semantics.
The massive gap, yeah. Semantics is the lived, felt meaning. It's the actual experience of, drawing water from a polluted well or the relief of turning on a clean tap for the first time.
Things AI has absolutely no sensory experience of.
None. It has the rules of the story, but it just doesn't have the truth of the story.
And we suggest that for any communicator, any fundraiser trying to build lasting donor relationships, the semantics are the engine. The syntax gets the email open, sure, but the semantics are what inspire the gift and the repeat gift and, the advocacy that follows.
Which is why we have to ask of any story, AI or human written, does this just know the plot or does it genuinely understand the human reality behind it?
That's structural perfection versus the messy reality.
Yeah.
It brings us to a really foundational idea from physics that I think makes this gap so clear.
I think I know where you're going with this.
The Richard Feynman lesson about the bird in the woods.
Yeah.
This is where it gets really compelling.
Yeah, this makes it so tangible.
So Feynman told this story from his childhood. He was walking with his dad and they see a bird. His father, instead of just saying, oh, that's a robin, he starts listing off labels.
Right.
He says, you see that bird? It's a Spencer's warbler. In Italian, it's a chuto la petita. In Portuguese, a bom da peda. In Chinese, it's a chenglongta.
He's cataloging. That is a perfect demonstration of comprehensive labeling, which is exactly what an AI model does. It is the ultimate dictionary, the ultimate thesaurus.
But then his father delivers the punchline. And this should be, I think, a mantra for every content creator out there. He stops and says, you can know the name of that bird in all the languages of the world. But when you're finished, you'll know absolutely nothing whatever about the bird itself.
Yeah.
You'll only know about humans and what they call it. The important part, he said, is to look at what the bird is doing, how it flies, what it eats, where it nests. That is the truth.
And we really suggest you internalize that idea for your fundraising. AI is the master of the name. It knows the word empathy in every language.
Right.
It knows that if you write about poverty, the reader statistically expects to see words like struggle, hope, or solution. It has the perfect syntax for that story.
But it has never watched the bird fly.
Never.
It hasn't felt the wind under its wings or the exhaustion. It can describe the mechanism of tragedy, but it's never felt the actual sorrow that makes one person help another.
Exactly. The machine has the names, the labels, the tokens, but it lacks the reality, the actual messy biological experience of living.
So for us, that means the human communicator has to be the one watching the bird fly.
Yes. We recommend moving beyond just collecting keywords from an interview with the beneficiary. You have to focus on the sensory details, the action. What did it look like when that family received aid? What was the first thing they did?
That's the data the machine can't synthesize.
And it's the necessary component for truly impactful, human-centric storytelling.
I do struggle with this sometimes, though. I mean, if the AI is so good at mimicking the structure, if it can list every single thing a bird does, hopping, singing, building a nest, how do we definitively prove it lacks that conceptual understanding of the flight itself?
That's a powerful and necessary question.
If the outcome's a compelling story, isn't that good enough for our operational needs?
And, well, for some things, maybe. For a quick segmentation task or a simple thank you note, the AI's output might be sufficient. It might be great, even.
But not for the big stuff.
Not when the goal is deep, committed, mission-based giving. For that, you need something beyond just prediction. And that brings us to another analogy, one that shows how even perfect prediction can hide a total lack of conceptual understanding.
Okay.
The Mayan astronomer.
Right. So this takes us from just observation to high-level prediction. The ancient Mayan astronomers were, they were astonishing mathematical geniuses.
Unbelievable. Masters of tracking cycles.
Their calendar systems were so sophisticated they could predict the exact moment of a solar eclipse with terrifying precision. They had the numbers down perfectly. Their models just worked
Flawlessly. Consistently. But here is the profound limitation, and it applies directly to our modern tools, including AI.
Okay.
Despite their perfect prediction of the cycle, they had no idea that the moon was a giant rock floating in space, held there by Newtonian gravity.
So they understood the cycle, the pattern of movement.
Yes, but they did not understand the underlying universe, the physical, conceptual reality that was creating that cycle in the first place.
That's a huge distinction. They knew when it would happen, but they had no idea why it was happening.
Precisely. Now, we suggest you think of AI as the modern Mayan astronomer. It's working in high-dimensional vectors, just optimizing patterns.
It can see the cycle of giving.
Perfectly. It can analyze millions of data points and tell you the statistically perfect time to send an email, the demographic most likely to click, the sequence of words most likely to generate a donation. It predicts the when and the how.
But it doesn't know the universe behind that action. That compelling story about a lost child that inspires giving to the machine? That's not a conceptual tragedy.
No. To the machine, it is simply a mathematical equation that maximizes the probability of the next token to ensure a statistically successful completion.
It's fulfilling the cycle of human generosity without having any concept of what generosity is.
And we just have to remember that when we use AI to craft our appeals, the AI is brilliant at optimizing the cycle, the timing, the structure, but it cannot generate the genuine human motivation. That's the universe.
So communicators, we have to be the ones to inject the human why, the conceptual reality.
To make sure the story isn't just timely, but actually moving.
So what does this all mean for us? For everyone in the Fundraising Command Center? We have to shift our focus from just marveling at how the AI predicts the next word and start looking for the reality of the story itself. We have to always check for the universe behind the numbers.
And that brings us to the core truth we champion for all our clients. When you're dealing with narratives meant to inspire action, especially sacrificial giving, you have to remember this. One is a story, the other is a number.
It sounds so simple, but the impact is just massive.
It is. The fundamental difference is what we call emotional load. When a human tells a story, the words carry a weight from lived experience or from a profound empathetic connection.
And that weight, that load, it transfers to the donor.
It's authentic testimony. You can't fake it.
And when an AI tells the story,
well, it's just rearranging the shadows of our own expressions. It's a perfect mirror reflecting human emotion, but it is not a window providing a new, genuine perspective into that feeling.
it's the difference between an appeal that is statistically compelling and one that is authentically transformational.
Yes.
So the human role is still clearly defined. What we recommend is that the human provides the understanding, the testimony. The AI can provide the structure and the efficiency.
A powerful partnership if used correctly.
The machine is invaluable for drafting, for segmentation, for making sure the syntax is perfect and the delivery is efficient.
But only the human communicator can testify to the truth of the story. You are the one who has watched the bird fly. You can confirm that the family helped by your services is really thriving.
The AI knows the plot, the sequence of events.
But only you understand the story, the emotional load, and its ultimate impact on your mission and the lives you serve. That insight it's non-quantifiable. It has to be manually protected by a person.
That emotional cargo is the crucial part we have to audit for. So here's a final thought. If AI can perfectly model the structure of a tragedy, the plot points, the rising action, the resolution, what then is the single non-quantifiable human truth that an algorithm can never replicate in the actual visceral experience of giving?
That's the question to hold on to.
Think about that truth and make sure it anchors your next appeal.
For more information about this and all Click and Pledge products, make sure to visit clickandpledge.com and request for a one-on-one training or demo. Whether you are a client or curious about our platform, just ask us and we will gladly get together with you to chat.
And don't forget to subscribe to this podcast to stay up to date with all the latest and greatest features of the Click and Pledge Fundraising Command Center.